I think that there is a common feeling in most communities that literacy, everybody is very literate or can write and read and all those things, but there are certainly some of the populations that do have. Uh, some of the challenges with this. And we're going to talk about the very good work of Literacy Council of Frederick today with Andrew West, who is development coordinator. Andrew, it's good to have you with us today in the program.
It's great to be here, Bob. And you said it well.
Yeah.
Different populations have different literacy needs, and there are also different types of literacy that we're addressing in the community. So happy to be here and chat with you.
Well, great. And first of all, tell us a little history. When did this first get started?
Oh, that's a great question. So, the Literacy Council of Frederick County, we've been around since 1963. So, we've been here for a minute. We celebrated our 60-year anniversary 2 years ago, and we're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, that's great. And tell us exactly the programs that you have and the things that you do there.
So, I have a two-part answer to that question. There's current state for us as we wrap up our fiscal year, which comes to an end at the end of June. And current state right now is we do ESL conversation classes. So that's English as a second language. We class small groups, meet in person, and practice conversation. A lot of what we do is through our volunteer tutoring program. We have a long roster of volunteers, but never enough. We're always looking for more volunteers who meet typically one on one with folks who are learning English as a second language and tutor them once a week. And then we also do parent literacy classes, more ESL stuff in the current state. As we move into our next fiscal year, starting this summer, we are expanding our offerings. We're going into digital literacy, health literacy, and financial literacy because sometimes it's not just learning the English language that allows community members to access the community to a greater degree and feel more empowered. Sometimes it's things like navigating a doctor's visit, uh, liaising with administration at your kid's school, right? And knowing how to talk about things like that. So literacy goes beyond just the English language, and we're moving to address as much of that as we can in the community.
Well, that's great. Yeah, and I'm glad that you talked about the expanded thing because it isn't just reading and writing, right? So
That's right.
very much different. Yeah, and adding things, and the financial component is very important too. I think that you're talking about there.
Yes, I remember, some years ago when my dad sat me down and taught me how to balance a checkbook, and how as a 16-year-old that was overwhelming for
Yeah.
me. And we all know nowadays it's even more complicated than that.
Well, and you
Managing
used
a
to get
checking
that in the
account.
schools, but you don't so much anymore. So, I mean, there
Yeah,
used to,
so I hear.
yeah. I know
Hmm.
junior achievement does do those kind of things, but not every school has that, unfortunately. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what we're here to do is address those gaps in the community, right? Where the systems and structures in place maybe there's a gap there where we can step in and meet that need.
Now, what age do you start serving people?
What's that?
What at what age do you start serving people? Is this,
So we start at 18. We focus on adult literacy and adult education at the Literacy Council. So we don't do the child population. We take them in when they're at adulthood and help them with their literacy needs.
now you mentioned you're going to be doing more digital. Does that mean more virtual type stuff, not all in person, or is that what you're going after?
Well, we already do some digital classes and virtual and hybrid classes, and a lot of our tutors they run kind of their own enterprise as far as that goes. We give them the support they need, and they handle scheduling and logistics. And a lot of those tutors meet, virtually. But when I say digital literacy, I mean we're going to be teaching folks how to navigate the digital landscape, how to thrive in our hyper connected world that we live in now that we're about 25 years into the internet age, right? So we're talking about, and that ties in sometimes with the financial piece too, because if you're managing your finances on the bank's website, there's a digital literacy element to that as well. So that's what we mean when we say digital literacy.
Oh, that is so important too, because it seems as though really, if you're even going to get employment, you're going to have some basic uh, knowledge about computers and that type of thing. So it's very important.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. Yep.
So, how do people get involved? They just contact you and you set up classes with them. Is that how it works?
You know, Bob, I'm so glad you asked that question because that is, if any of our listeners today have one takeaway from hearing us talk about this, I want them to know how they can get involved with our organization. So, if you're in the greater Frederick area and you need help developing your literacy skill set, whether that's English as a second language or any of these other digital, financial, health literacy, you can go to our website. It is frederickLiteracy.org, and you can enroll in any of our programs there. So that's for learners in the community who need our support. You can also follow us on our socials and just comment on any of our social posts, and someone will reach out to you. So you can look up the Literacy Council of Frederick County on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We have a heavy presence on all three of those platforms. As far as supporting the organization by way of volunteering
Yep.
or by way of donations, you can also do that at our website. It's frederickLiteracy.org again. And there are buttons you can click on the homepage to volunteer or to donate.
Yeah, and what's the minimum age for volunteers?
Minimum age, I believe, is also 18, though it may be 21. So I'll have to get back to you on that,
Oh no,
Bob.
that's okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I will
information.
say this:
Yeah.
if you are interested in volunteering in the Frederick community and you enjoy supporting adult learners, you do not have to be an expert in grammar or English to be an effective volunteer tutor with us. And all it takes is about 1 hour of time per week. And that's actually how I got started with the Literacy Council when I was working my corporate job. I just volunteered once a week, and now I'm working here full time. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, boy, it sounds like it. Well, Andrew, thanks so much for talking to us about this. And if you want to be a volunteer or need the services, go to the website that we mentioned and continue the great work. Literacy Council, Frederick. Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate having you on.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for having me. This was great.